Welcome back, everybody, to another week of Sunday School here at the Lighthouse Church of the Nazarene in Moravia, Iowa, where we're going through the book of Isaiah. And this week we are going to be in Isaiah chapter 39. So today, this is going to be the last chapter of what's known as the historical interlude portion of the book of Isaiah. This portion of Isaiah, chapters 36, 37, 38, and 39, they're basically a bridge from the first half of the book of Isaiah to the second half of the book of Isaiah. So what's been going on right now? King Hezekiah has had quite a time. First, the Assyrians had surrounded Jerusalem and were threatening to overtake them. Then Hezekiah was sick. God told him, get your house in order. Hezekiah prayed. Isaiah said, okay, you get another 15 years of life. Hezekiah said, well, what sign will I be given so that I know this thing? So God actually sent the sun back 10 degrees, actually turned back time a little bit. So that's what's been going on right now. And this week in chapter 39, apparently this news about Hezekiah had traveled a long ways, 900 miles over to the Babylonians. So the Babylonians are going to come and give a visit to King Hezekiah. Now, this same account that we're reading about right here, it can also be read about in 2 Kings chapter 20 and 2 Chronicles 32. So we get this account 3 times in the Bible. So let's just dig in and see what we can find. We're in Isaiah chapter 39, verse 1. At that time, Merodach Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he heard that he had been sick and had recovered. So, who showed up? They're the Babylonians. The Babylonians, their capital, Babylon, it was near modern-day Baghdad, Iraq. The Babylonians, they are not the world powers yet. The Syrians right now are the world powers. These guys, the Babylonians, they will be the world power in about 75 years. So why did they travel all this way, 900 miles? Why are they here? Well, it says here because they heard that he was sick. But if you go back to 2 Chronicles 32, 31, it says because they heard about the wonders that was done in the land. So we probably think that this also refers to the long day when God stopped time and actually took the sun back 10 degrees. Because what do we know about the Babylonians? We know that they were astrologers. We know that they were magi's because these are the same people that showed up at the birth of Jesus. They said they'd come a long way, and they said because they had seen his star in the east and had come to worship him. So the Babylonians, they were astrologers. They probably saw this long day, the sign in the sky, and said, we have to know about this. Probably word got back that it had to do with Hezekiah, so they had to come and see this. But this mission here, the Babylonians, it's probably also politically motivated. They're probably trying to form an alliance with King Hezekiah and the people of Judah against the Assyrians. Because there's a saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. These guys both have a common enemy, the Assyrians. All right. One other thing I want to talk about here, and I want to go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 32, because 2 Chronicles 32 gives us some interesting insight into what is going on right here. The book of 1st and 2nd Chronicles, it tells the same stories as the books of the Samuels and the Kings, but the Chronicles, they actually give a deeper spiritual meaning. They actually tell you what God was doing at that time, versus in the books like 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, a lot of times it's just historical facts. So if we go back to 2nd Chronicles 32, in verse 25, it says this. In those days, Hezekiah was sick and near death, and he prayed to the Lord, and he spoke to him and gave him a sign. But then listen to this. 2 Chronicles 32:25. But Hezekiah did not repay according to the favor shown him, for his heart was lifted up. Therefore, wrath was looming over him and over Judah and Jerusalem. Isn't that interesting? In the book of Chronicles, it points out, yes, Hezekiah, he was healed, but guess what? He wasn't thankful and he didn't repay God for it. And then listen to this. I'm going to go further down in 2 Chronicles chapter 32. This is verse 31. However, regarding the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon, whom they sent to him to inquire about the wonders that was done in the land, listen to this right here. God withdrew from him in order to test him that he might know all that was in his heart. Isn't that interesting? The Bible tells us that God withdrew from Hezekiah during this visit from the Babylonians to test him and to know what was in his heart. This is something we need to remember. We are most at risk when everything is going our way, because when everything's going good in our lives, what happens? We let our spiritual guard down and we forget that we are dependent upon God for everything. And the Bible tells us that. Jesus said, without me, you can do nothing. That's John 15:5. Psalm 127 says, unless the Lord builds a house, the laborers build in vain. We have to build upon the rock, Jesus Christ, not on sand. So the Bible tells us that God withdrew from him right here. We need to remember every morning we need to pray, Lord, give me the wisdom to walk through this day. We need to never try to do anything on our own. So let's go back to Isaiah chapter 39 here, verse 2. And Hezekiah was pleased with them and showed them the house of his treasures, the silver and gold, the spices and precious ointment, all his armory, all that was found among his treasures. There was nothing in his house or in all his dominion that Hezekiah did not show them. Notice it. What did he show them? Everything. He was so proud of his stuff. Look at everything I've accomplished. Look at all that I've accumulated here. So the Bible tells us that he showed them everything except for one thing. And that's the most important thing, his God. What a wasted opportunity by Hezekiah right here. He could have shared with the Babylonians all the good things that God had done for him and for the nation, how he had healed him. And then he should have said, and you can serve that God too, because he is the one true God. Instead, what does he do? Just pridefully shows off all of his stuff. Jesus said, it's in Matthew chapter 6. He says, where your treasure is, therein lies your heart also. Where was Hezekiah's treasure? In his stuff. Remember, we need to give God glory in everything we do. Instead of just bragging about our accomplishments, our stuff, what do we need to do? We need to brag on our God. Jesus said, whoever is ashamed of me and my words, of him the Son of Man will also be ashamed. I think we're ashamed of God when we don't freely share him in our conversations and in everything we do. Because guess what? We are commanded to share our faith. It's called the Great Commission. Jesus said, go out into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. So let's keep going here. So the Babylonians show up. Hezekiah shows them everything that is in the land. Verse 3. Then Isaiah the prophet went to King Hezekiah and said to him, what did these men say? And from where did they come to you? Now, I have to believe that Isaiah already knows the answer about this. So Hezekiah said to him, they came to me from a far country, from Babylon. We're probably starting to see some pride creep in here, because Hezekiah's probably, oh, they came from a long ways off, 900 miles just to see me. Verse 4, and he said, what have they seen in your house? So this is Isaiah asking Hezekiah, what did you show them? What have they seen? And then listen to Hezekiah's answer right here. He said, they have seen all that is in my house. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not shown them. Did you catch that? Whose treasures were they? Whose houses were they? Hezekiah said, they're all mine right here. This reminds us of Nebuchadnezzar. It's in Daniel chapter 4. When Nebuchadnezzar is out walking in Babylon, he says, is this not my great country that I have built by my power and my might? And right then, God strikes him down. We have to remember, everything we have, it's on loan from God. We came into this world naked and we're going to leave naked. We need to remember that. Everything we have, it's just entrusted to us for a little while, because all flesh is as grass. The grass withers, the flowers fade, but the word of the Lord endures forever. Our life is just an insignificant vapor in the wind, here today and gone tomorrow. Everything we have is on loan from God. You remember that saying that Rush Limbaugh used to say? He said, talent on loan from God. That was probably a little prideful to say, but he did at least say it was on loan from God here. I think also a point here, we can say this. Boastful talk reveals ignorance, because we never know when that stuff will be taken away from us, or when we're falling. Corrie ten Boom, she had a great quote about this. She said, hold on loosely to the things of this world, because we never know when they will be required of us. All right, let's keep going here. Verse 5. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days are coming when all that is in your house and what your fathers have accumulated until this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, says the Lord. Now, 100 years later, this is going to happen, just like Isaiah said it would. Because Babylon is going to need money for war against the Assyrians. And what are they going to do? They're going to say, hey, I know where there's a lot of gold that we need for money to fund our war efforts here. I think there's also another lesson here. You don't have to share everything. I've heard it said, you always have more than you show, and you should speak less than you know. You need to keep your ace in the hole. Instead, Hezekiah shared everything. Verse 7, and they shall take away some of your sons who will descend from you, whom you will beget, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. What did Isaiah just say to Hezekiah? Hey, your descendants, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, they're going to be prisoners of war. They're going to be taken all the way over to Babylon. And guess what? They're going to be eunuchs. They're going to be singing soprano in the king's quartet, is what he's telling them. And this happened just like Isaiah said it would. 3 different times. In 605 BC, Nebuchadnezzar, he actually came into Jerusalem and he started first taking out the best and the brightest in what is known as the first deportation. This is when Daniel and his 3 friends, they all went back to Babylon. Then he did it again in 597 BC, and this is the second deportation, and that's when Ezekiel would have went to Babylon. And then in 586 BC, everything was destroyed and everything went back to Babylon, just like Isaiah said it would happen. So then listen to this response by King Hezekiah. If you just received this news, what would your reaction be? Verse 8, so Hezekiah said to Isaiah, oh, the word of the Lord which you have spoken is good. For he said, at least there will be peace and truth in my days. What do you think of this response? That's an interesting response, isn't it? What was his response? Oh, as long as it doesn't affect me, not my problem, I'm good. How many of us take that attitude toward problems today? Not my problem. At least it doesn't affect me. At least it doesn't affect my wallet. As long as it doesn't affect my internet speed, everything will be okay. His answer right here, it's the difference between a politician and a statesman. What does a politician do? They're just worried about their next election, and they have no care about what the ramifications are on down the line. A statesman, they're worried about their own country. Thomas Paine, he had a great quote that goes along with this. He said, if there must be trouble, let it be in my day that my children may have peace. We need to bear one another's burdens. The Bible tells us that. Galatians 6:2, not just be worried about our own thing. The difference here is really the difference between a self-centered life and an other-centered life. And if you think about it, think about the difference in receiving the news earlier when Isaiah told Hezekiah, hey, get your house in order, you're going to die. What did he do? It said he started wailing and weeping and turned away. But he gets the news that his grandkids are going to be going to Babylon and be eunuchs and slaves in that country. He says, oh, okay, at least I'm good. All right, so we're done with chapter 39 here. What's something we can take away from what we just read here? Well, first off is this. Hezekiah didn't finish well. There's actually a common cited statistic that 2/3 of the people in the Bible didn't finish well. And this should be a warning to us. Jesus said, be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. Jesus said, he who endures to the end will be saved. We got to finish well. We got to be able to say like Paul did, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Finishing well is important. Hezekiah, he didn't finish well. I think also we can say this. Personal failings can have generational consequences right here. Remember, nobody sins in a vacuum. Because of what Hezekiah did, because of what other kings of Judah did, it affected generations on down the line. What we do in our life, it'll have generational consequences on down the line. And we're done with Isaiah chapter 39. Next week, we start the next section of the book of Isaiah. We're in Isaiah chapter 40. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you learned something. And I'll see you the same time, same place next week. Bye.